What's up, Sky Squad? We are back in the building. What's going on? Y'all? We got to talk about this episode of The Real Housewives of Potomac. We got some news and all kinds of information for you guys today. Now, if you are watching in that good chatterization, let me know if you guys can see and hear me clearly. Let me know if you guys can see and hear me clearly. I'm in a brand new space in the house trying to figure out and set this whole thing up right so we can get down to the get down with this whole situation with the Real Housewives of Potomac. I see y'all slowly making y'all way in the house. I see y'all. We got Brooklyn in the house. Okay, 804, Richmond up in the house, Chicago, Groveland, Florida. I see y'all. Okay, y'all say y'all can hear me and see me clearly. We got Delaware in the place. Who else we got up in here? We got Coconut Creek, Florida, Raleigh, Philly, BK, Montreal, Canada. I see y'all. We got Cali in the house. Cali love. We got NYC, Birmingham, New Jersey in the place to be, and DC, of course, is in here. Jamaica, what's up, y'all? Brooklyn, Buffalo, I see y'all. Listen, so we got to talk about a bunch of different things that happened last night on last night's episode of Real Housewives of Potomac. We had Gizelle doing the walkerization out of the building because she needed to protect her image with that good pastor Jamal Bryant. Okay, we're going to dive into that. We had Monique Samuels on Watch What Happens Live last night. Not sure if you guys caught that, but she also spilled some tea that she's going to spill more of at the reunion about that good Gizelle and Jamal. Okay, before we get into all that, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so, of course. Watch on Facebook because we are streaming live on Facebook as well. And you guys can join the texting community so I can notify you as soon as a video drops. In the good chatterization, let me know if you got the text message from the chat, from the group text to make your way on over here. Let me know if you got that good text message, okay? Now, let's go ahead and touch base on this episode. Y'all know how we do. Before we actually recap the episode, we need to take a poll. We need to find out what you guys felt about the episode, okay? Now, what we do is, for those of you who are new, okay, we rate the episode on a scale of 1 through 10, okay? Now, you can feel free to rate it whatever you like. I'm also going to give you guys my thoughts as well. For me, I'm going to rate last night's episode. I don't know. I'm gonna give it a 7. Okay, I'm gonna give it a 7, a solid 7. And I would give it a 6.5, but I'm gonna give it a 7. Okay. But I see a lot of y'all saying 10s. Some people are saying 10s across the boards. I would like to know why you gave it the rating that you gave it. For as much as you can write in the chat, let me know what you guys can rate it. Okay. I see a lot of people are giving it really high ratings. Okay. Here's why I gave it a 7, okay? This entire episode centered around two conversations that were happening, quote unquote, simultaneously, okay? We juxtaposed Candiace having her conversation with her therapist or counselor or whatever he may be. And then we have Monique addressing the ladies at Karen Huger's house, and that was the extent of the episode. There was nothing else in the episode. Now, to me, the reason I rated that low is because I felt like I was actually prepared to move on from this aspect of the show and into the next phase, given that we had already gotten the mid-season trailer, okay? So for me, I wanted to see a little bit more than these two instances, which I felt like could have been shaved down into much less time than we had to spend for an entire hour with these ladies. That's just what I felt, okay? I wanted to see a whole lot more, okay? I wanted to see more of the ladies doing other things beyond this. And I knew that this was going to still take up a good portion of what the ladies chose to talk about. But I guess I just felt like the way they built up this episode, and even the way they kept showing the previews for what was going to keep happening in the episode, I felt like it was out of context. It was very misleading. Okay. And I don't like, when a situation or a subject gets dragged on. We have been on this altercation for 3 weeks now. This is the 3rd week that we're actually having to talk about this. And for me, I'm just going to go ahead and break it down for y'all like this. I have maintained my stance on this. I have 2 thoughts, and then we're going to move past it and into what else actually happened in the episode. With regards to the altercation, I know that a lot of you guys feel like, of course, we never condone, hitting people or whatever like that. We don't condone that on this channel. That's not what we condone. But we also, I'm gonna have to tell y'all this. In real life, if somebody tells you to get your hands out of their face, what I'm gonna need you to do in real life is get your hands out of their face. Because what happens a lot of times on these shows, and I guess sometimes in real life, people think that they can play with you, okay? And people think that they can play in your face, okay? And what happens in a lot of instances is that you end up playing with the wrong person. And then the wrong person is not gonna fly with them on that day, okay? So that's number one. And I maintain my stance on that. And that doesn't mean that whoever raised me wrong. No, that's just how I grew up, okay? I grew up, and I can tell y'all this. I can also tell y'all this for a fact. There is nobody in my life that I know, okay, that would allow somebody else to jump in, to put their hands in their face, and and that person tell them to stop, that they don't go off, okay? That's real life. That's real life. And I understand we're watching a reality television show, but if you want the real, that's what's really gonna likely happen should someone do that. So I would advise for anybody else who's in the chat, in the chatterization, in the comments, if you ever decide to do that to somebody, you have to be prepared for the outcome that you may face if you choose to do that, okay? People are not going to be playing these days. That's just what I got to say about that. You can disagree with it, and that's fine. I absolutely, welcome any other opinion outside of my own, but I stand by that, okay? Now, the next thing that I have to say is this. I have tried to rewind and go through the slow-mo of what we have been given on this show to determine who hit what with what and who grabbed who and this, that, and third, and whoop, and whoop, and whoop. And finally, I saw somebody post something today, and I was like, you know what? A light bulb went off in my head. I said, you know what? I am so silly. Because what I am doing is I am relying on the footage that is shown on the television show that is edited for me to make a final judgment on who actually did what to whom and how it was done, right? So what I said to myself was this. What I said was, let me go back. Because at the end of the day, Gizelle maintained that there were 6 cameras involved that night during filming. Now, from what I can figure is if all 6 cameras caught all of these things going down, and if the ladies are to be believed that Monique was the aggressor in this situation and that she just totally mollywopped the floor with Candiace unprovoked, then it would seem to me as though the charges that were raised would not have been dismissed, okay? So for me, what I had to go by was this. I saw this posted, I think it was on the Bravo Snark, I'm not necessarily sure. So I had to go back, y'all. I had to take it all the way back because what I kind of realized was this. We had already received the information about almost a year ago at this point as to who did what to whom and how it actually went down. So the only people that would at this point in time likely have knowledge of what actually went down would be, okay, the people who have access to all 6 camera angles, and that would be the court of law, okay? So in both cases, Monique and Candiace faced potential jail time for these charges, okay? But at the same time, on what date was this? December 27, 2019, okay? The decision had been made, okay, that the charges were being dismissed against both parties, okay? So as everybody is trying to dissect this footage, okay, As everybody is trying to dissect it, we have Gizelle and Robyn chiming in on what they believe actually really happened. We have everybody with an opinion on it. At the end of the day, the only opinion that really mattered in this situation was the court of law. And the court of law saw fit that this case would be dismissed, okay? And here's the thing. If you go down into the article on People Magazine, okay, what has happened is in this statement, Monique Samuel's lawyer states this, okay? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I'm looking at the article now, y'all. I'm looking at the article now. The article basically maintains that the judge had access to the actual footage and took witness statements, as well as statements from Monique and Candiace themselves, and determined that this whole situation should be dismissed. Okay? So what does that tell you? Logic should deduce to you that there is something in the footage or something that was said that leads us to believe that we have not seen everything that actually happened. So that's just where I'm at with it. So until I see everything that's happened with it, I'm going to leave it alone. That's just my position on it. Because I'm trying to dissect this footage with a fine-tooth comb, and I can't, okay? The reason why I can't is because this is the edited footage. Show me the raw footage from all 6 camera angles, and then I have a better idea of exactly what happened, okay? Now, with regards to that, what we have here is the ladies are convening at Karen Huger's house. Now, what we do see in the episode is that Karen gives Candiace the courtesy of letting her know that Monique will be speaking to the ladies, okay? Now, with regards to that, Candiace does not agree with Karen extending that amount of grace to Monique, okay? But it's the same amount of grace that Karen was extending to Candiace. Now, I don't know who knows what the definition of grace is, but grace is something that you give freely, and you would probably give it to both parties, okay? That's how grace works in this situation. So you can tell she's a little bit agitated or whatever, and she's had her conversations with everybody, you know, and as she has had her right to do so, okay? So Karen is still standing where she stands, firmly in the middle and not being swayed either way, okay? So the ladies all, you know, convene. But actually, let's back it on up. The lady... Did y'all feel like Gizelle, Robyn, and Wendy came there with their minds already made up in this situation? Okay? Do you feel in your spirit, and let me know in the chatterization, do you feel in your spirit that Gizelle, Robyn, and Wendy came there with their minds already made up? Let me know in the chatterization. I see a lot of you guys saying yes. I see a lot of yeses. Okay, I'm just going through the comments. All right. So it's interesting to me because we see the complete opposite of what happened with Karen and with Ashley coming into this situation, both kind of willing to at least hear what she had to say. You know what I'm saying? Now, here's the thing. And I want to go back to something real quick. You know, I interviewed Monique the other day. And I asked her, you know, was there at any point a difference between any of the support that the ladies gave you off camera versus on, or something to that effect or whatever? And she alluded in the video that, you know, Wendy had texted her and called her and had actually, you know, reached out to her and was very supportive of her. But then when she got to the actual event at Karen's, that she felt like Wendy was different with her. So Wendy has responded on social media and says, yes, Miss Samuels, I text you and we spoke via phone. I was genuinely concerned. The Real Housewives of Potomac ladies know this, nothing new. They also know that during our call, you said Candiace tested me and I have never failed a test. Not sure your purpose of mentioning me, but be blessed. So then she, I guess, leaks some text messages between her and Monique publicly that says, hey girl, just checking up on you. Hope you're okay. And then I'm guessing this is Monique responding. Oh, thank you, babe. I really appreciate you. I'm good. Now, I can't see who it is that tagged the video that we did, the interview with Monique, but it is tagged below that. Thank you, Miss Wendy Acefo, for that. So we have that sort of happening in the background. Now, I want to go down each versus taking this scene by scene in this review. We're going to take this lady by lady. And I want to know in the chatterization what your thoughts are about the way Wendy handled the situation with Monique when they sat down at Karen's house. Okay. For me, I felt as though Wendy, and Porsha alluded to this on the Bravo chat room. She felt as though Wendy put a lot on Monique as a Black woman to be responsible for the stereotypes that exist about Black women. And I addressed this as well. I don't feel like I hate that notion that stereotype is out there, because for me, I feel like as a Black person, as a person of color, as any person, okay, you have the right to be judged on your own actions. And that's that, okay? Out of your own actions. And it shouldn't be related back to the entire race because one person did this, that, or the third. That to me is insane, okay? And I think Karen stated it best. She said, our Real Housewife of Potomac cast represents only the Black women on this platform. We cannot and do not speak nor represent all Black women. That is a crown we as powerful Black women wear individually and proudly, okay? So I just kind of feel like it was a little team too much for me. It was team too much for me. And the idea of reality television, as Stephanie so eloquently states, everyone is too about their image to say what they really feel. And if you can't at a certain point in time simply be real on a reality television show and make mistakes and have those moments, why are you on this show? Why are you on this show? Okay? And I hate to say this, to Wendy at a certain point, but you're on a reality television show. The main premise of these shows is drama. You got to understand what you're getting into when you walk into this situation. You got to understand that this is your first season. Ain't nobody had a moment to come for you yet. But if history is anything on this particular franchise, they're going to come for you at some point. They're going to do that. You just ain't had it happen yet because you just walked in the door. So, moving along. I want to next talk about Robyn, and then I'm going to get to Gizelle. Okay? Robyn basically is coming out swinging in this episode, okay? She's coming out swinging. She is not here for anything that Monique is saying. And okay, to me, this was Robyn's way of having a moment for herself. And I feel like she took that opportunity. Now, we talk about reality television in the sense of, also from what we see from a viewer's perspective and we react to it. But on this channel, we can also talk about, reality television and how it works and what a moment might be. And I felt like Robyn knew she needed that moment and she took it. And that was smart. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at it. Because for real, she hadn't had many moments this season. Now, I think that Robyn is a beautiful woman. But it's not beautiful to be such a follower to a certain degree. And I feel like sometimes she comes across on this show. She may not be like this in real life. But I feel like on the show, she comes across as a follower. And I say this because I'm being objective, but I'm not trying to persecute this woman. I'm not trying to do that, right? I'm just speaking about it from the perspective of someone who is watching and who is analyzing the reality television show that she is on. She hasn't had many moments this season, so she needed this moment in order to make some sparks, okay? And she did that, okay? So I'm not going to be too mad at her about that. The only thing that I will say that I would be a little bit perturbed if I am perturbed just kind of watching it is you don't get to say what someone is to their own children. You don't get to call someone, you don't dictate what a role model is to someone else's children. Because the only children that you should be worried about are your own. Okay? That was piss poor judgment on her behalf. I don't think it was right that she said that. And I felt like you can have your moment, but you ain't got to take it. You ain't got to take it there. Because when you start talking about people's parenting and it sort of blurs the lines of child raising and stuff like that, you go into a different territory that you don't want to go down that road, right? So Monique responds and says, to say that I'm not a role model to my daughter is insensitive. I will always be the best role model to my daughter because I'm open with her about my mistakes, successes, and personal struggles. I push her to be better than me, which is what any parent wants for their children. Now, what I will say about this is this. You could talk about Monique's actions. You could say whether you think they were wrong or they were right. Okay? You can say that. But you don't go after somebody as a parent. That's what we don't do. And I feel like, her and Gizelle, especially Robyn on social media, continuously try to wash their hands of any of the mess that Candiace told us all about, with them trying to say that Monique's youngest was not the child that she had with Chris Samuels. And it's like, honestly, no. Like, I can't look at you as Miss Holier Than Thou at this point, because Candiace already spilled the tea, okay? Candiace already spilled that tea, so we know what you about or what you are capable of too, right? So to me, I just felt like that was uncalled for, because I wouldn't want somebody to say that about Robyn. I wouldn't want somebody to say that she's a bad influence for her kids. I would never want somebody to say that. I just don't think that's right. I don't think it's right. That's just my opinion. And I would defend her if the shoe was on the other foot and somebody were to say that, because I don't think it's cool. I feel like every mother on this show is trying to be the best mother that they can be. And I would wager to say in general in life, every mother and every mother out there is trying their hardest to be the best mother that they can be. There may be some instances where somebody is not ready for motherhood, but I would wager to say that most moms are simply trying their best. And that's not something that you touch. That's not something that you touch to me. I want to talk about next Miss GIZELLE Bryant. Okay? GIZELLE, being sort of the ringleader in this situation, comes down on Monique the absolute hardest. And essentially, her and Monique kind of go at it. Um, and Robyn points out that Monique is being condescending with Gizelle, who is being absolutely condescending with Monique as well. Okay, let's talk about it. Let's absolutely talk about it. What's good for the goose has to be good for the gander. Okay, everybody's got to be either civil or not in this situation. And I feel like Gizelle had already come in there from season 2 with her mind made up that this was going to be her way of getting rid of Monique for whatever reason. And I still to this day don't understand what it is that irks Gizelle about Monique. Okay, but the hypocrisy of all this is that, well, I'm not even going to get into that yet, but I want to talk about Gizelle bringing security, okay? Gizelle is bringing security to the house because she is concerned that Monique may decide to snatch her wig. And she says that she does not want to be Googled and have an image of her having her wig snatched. So she has brought security, okay? I thought this was the biggest bunch of BS I have ever seen in my life. First of all, Gizelle knows she's not about that life, okay? She's not gonna, and listen, there is nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with knowing that you will never get in somebody's face and act up, okay? There's nothing wrong with that. Most of us could take a note from that, right? We can argue from 6 feet apart, right? She knows, she already knew that was uncalled for. Bringing security, come on now. That was crazy. Then she tells Monique that her daughters don't want her to be around Monique. Now I got to look at y'all for this. She tells Monique that her daughters don't want her to be around Monique. That's interesting to me because your daughters also don't want you to be around Pastor Jamal either. Okay? That's out of their mouth, not mine. That's out of their mouths. Okay? Not only was it out of their mouths, it was also out of your father's mouth. But you ain't listening to them on that. So why are you picking and choosing what you decide to listen to your kids on? Wrong answer. Wrong answer, boo. So to me, I was like, okay, here she go. Here she go with her notes, okay, that she later said she threw in the trash can, okay, when she was on that Bravo chat show, okay? Now, she ran down the list of times that Monique has said she was going to do something to somebody. And this sort of leads me to another issue that I have with the women on this show. And it's not all of them, it's just certain ones. A lot of times these some of the women on this show feel like it's okay to argue and play around in people's faces. And she went down the line of Monique's transgressions, but she forgot about Robyn's. Conveniently. It was Robyn that rolled up on Monique when Monique held up that umbrella and told her she was going to yoke her out, okay? Y'all remember that? Because Gizelle sure didn't remember that moment. All right? It was also Robyn, and I thought I had a visual of it, but I don't, who rolled up on Ashley Darby in Ashley Darby's own place of business while people were patroning the restaurant, proceeds to stick her hand in Ashley's face, and Ashley told her, "Get your hand out of my face." Robyn proceeds to double down on that, still doing it, okay? If Ashley had been a different type of person, or if Ashley had been in a different mood or zone that day, okay, things could have went all the way left. Now, that in the previous season, I could have swore we had somebody throwing a butter knife. Or does memory not serve me correctly? I don't recall. It's interesting how she chooses, how she can pick and choose what instances she wants to recall for the benefit of the situation that she's in at that moment. crazy to me. Crazy. Insane to me. But the straw that broke the camel's back for me was this moment right here. When she says to Monique, I by no means wants to be anywhere near you. And so she gets up to leave as if somebody was about to follow her out. Okay? As if the ladies were about to get up behind her like SWV and roll out the building with her. Nobody moves. So she insert her security exit and Monique is like, okay, bye, girl. Bye, girl. You can go. We didn't need you here no way. Okay? We didn't need you there no way. That's what she said. That's what she had said. Okay? I saw some super chats come in. Thank you so much for the super chats. Now, when Coco from SWV left, okay, she's in her confessionals talking about her and Jamal have an image to maintain. Well, girl, what image? What image? Where? What is the image? Because the image that you have painted of him yourself is not a pretty one, okay? It is she who called him cheater, pumpkin eater circa season 1. Do we recall that? Okay? Do we recall it was her that was telling his story of the cheaterization in season 1? It was her that was giving us this information about how dirty he did her, according to her. But I mean, you know, even though other stuff about him is out there, whether half of it is true or not, she is the one who gave us this information. So you mean to tell me, let me talk about it again. You mean to tell me that you're trying to convince us of this image, of this pristine image, when you're the main one on this show circulating drama and spreading false tea and getting all up in people's business and stirring the pot behind the scenes? You mean to tell me you worried about your image now? Girl, get out of here. Get out of here. You know, I would have been able to say, listen, if she had said, listen, I don't really fool with you like that. I don't like you, and this is honestly the straw that broke the camel's back. I'm out. I'm out. Okay. Had she just said that, I would have been fine with it. But she's trying to make it about so many other things that I feel like, girl, you really do have the amnesia. You really do have the amnesia. Because I could have respected you just being real in that moment and saying, listen, I ain't ever liked you. Okay. I ain't ever liked you. And this to me is more reason for me not to like you. So I'm out. Peace. That I can respect. I can respect that because that's honesty. That's real. And that's really what we all see anyway, through that cracked veneer of perfection. Okay. Now, with regards to Ashley, this is what I know. And a lot of people, you know, get it twisted. If you are on reality television, what you guys should realize is every season, there are going to be protagonists and antagonists. And every season, there is going to be somebody that does something or gets involved in some type of scandal that they will need to either be forgiven for or that they're going to have to work hard to win the group back from. Every reality TV show, we have seen this. So what we do know for sure is what goes around comes around. And so for that reason is why I tend to try to offer as much grace to people as possible. Okay. And I felt like Ashley, coming from that same space of being offered grace by the ladies for everything that she has done to them in the past, is now giving the same grace to Monique in this moment where she feels like she needs it. Now, if you don't want to give her that grace, then that's fine. That's fine. But just don't make any excuses for it. That's what I'm saying. If you want to say, listen, I just don't like you. I've never liked you. And that's just that, period. Say that. Say that. Own it. Own it. Own it. But don't try to fluff it up with all these other things. That's my issue with this situation. Don't try to make it seem like one person is so much worse than another. No, it's not. That's not the case. Keep it G. Keep it real. 100. Say what you feel. But when you try to come off on this whole image thing, I don't really care for that. Yeah, thank you, Jay. Did you pick up on what Gizelle's dad said about the additional 4 to 6 kids from the pastor? Okay. Jay says Gizelle's karma is coming. Come on now. There's other things that you need to be worried about in this moment than whether or not what kind of image you got out there. Okay. You put this image out there about this man. You said all these things. Or did y'all forget that? Did the people forget season 1? Because you can go back to season 1, rewind the tapes back. Okay, go back and watch season 1 if you missed it. Get a refresh. Okay, get a beverage and refresh. Now, I want to move on to the final 2 key ingredients of this episode. Okay, we have Candiace and Monique. What I liked about this episode is that Karen held Monique's feet to the fire while holding her hand. And I think that was real. That was epic to me to see that show of support. Candiace in her interview or in her session with the counselor, she maintained that she didn't feel as though she did anything. She wrote on social media, she says, I maintain that I did nothing to deserve being attacked. There's a separate conversation than one regarding whether or not I did anything to contribute to the altercation. The question he asked me during our session is, do you think you did anything to contribute to the physical part? Again, the answer is no. When we want to have a conversation about accountability and engaging in contentious arguments, you'll see more of this later, but I absolutely contributed with my verbal gymnastics to this incident. And if every time someone says something that the other doesn't like, we want to justify it with that, then we have a problem. But let's double and triple down some more on what I deserved. I think in my mind, what I wanted to see from her in that moment was I did. I had a part in that. But I think it's too soon for both ladies to recognize certain things, okay? I think 5 days after this altercation, if I'm watching the show, okay, 5 days after this altercation, I don't even know I can't really try to explain or think about or really understand what either person was thinking. But I wanted something different from her at that point, and I didn't get it, and I was disappointed. In my interview with Monique, I asked her, would you have done anything different? And she did express that she felt like she would have handled it differently. I want to ask you guys this question, and I want you to write in the chat. Do you guys feel as though there's any coming back from this with Candiace and Monique? Let me know in the chatterization. Do you think that there is any chance of either one of these ladies coming back from this incident. Yeah, I see a lot of you guys. Sasha says if outside forces are excluded. I saw somebody said that they would apologize and that would be it. MJ says maybe, but they have to want it. Andrea says Porsha and Kenya made up after their epic hair pulling on the reunion. I wouldn't say they won't make up. This is my hope as well. I mean, hopefully they still film as well. I just don't know if the problem with this is that I don't think that either one of these ladies will ever want to talk to each other again. And that just worries me with regards to the show and where that goes from here, because I just think that when you have a cast that is divided like this, it's really hard to bounce back from it when the people don't want to film together anymore. So it worries me about where the Potomac ladies go from here beyond this season. It looks as though it will be, yeah, I mean, that would be ideal. It looks as though this is a situation that's not going anywhere anytime soon, especially because this happened a year ago. It's being rehashed this year. I'll be interested to see where things are 3 years in the future, but I just don't see it happening right now. Yeah, I don't see it happening. And that makes me sad a little bit, because it makes me sad for what. Have you guys seen, do you guys watch Real Housewives of Orange County? If you don't, that's fine. I'm going to give you an example of why I worry. I worry because Orange County faced a couple of seasons ago a season where half of the ladies would not film with Vicki Gunvalson. They didn't want to be around her. And the show suffered as a result. So it was a whole season of animosity and all kinds of other stuff. And the show always, oh, thank you for the super chat, Cheryl, who says Candiace needs to stop being flip mouth. She does it to all the ladies. Upcoming episodes clearly show Candiace in another confrontation. Yeah, it doesn't stop, which is why for me, I feel like I'm kind of going to let that whole situation ride right now, because I feel like there's more coming that we're going to see. And I feel like in my spirit, I don't know. I just feel like in my spirit, we're going to see a whole lot more. And it'll be interesting to see how the whole season plays out. Someone asked, I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't know. Let me tell you something. I would quit. That would just be me, because in my real life, I feel like I don't deal with people who it's difficult to be around people that don't like you, but then to have to work with them is another thing. Like that, just I couldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. But no, I don't think she's a quitter. Someone says Monique is not a quitter. I don't think that makes her a quitter. I think sometimes, I'm just saying, if it was me, what I would do. Okay. But then again, I don't know. Okay. I don't know. Because we talk about, Okay. I don't know. It depends. It depends how, because I think it depends on how you view the show. If you view the show like what Nene had said before, she said she's just clocking in. You know, these are her coworkers. If you look at it like that, then I think that's a healthy frame of mind. But I think if you look at it from the perspective of me being an emotional person, I don't know that I would be able to do it. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. Yeah, you know, I don't think that she needs the money. So I feel like it's kind of like, you know, yeah, it does. The thing about it is it does turn to real life because, you know, now um, when you have people plotting on the families and all kinds of other stuff, and you start doing stuff with, you know, to mess with people's kids, and it just, that to me is when it gets to a whole nother place. And I just feel like, ooh, this is not good. So for my sanity, I just don't know that I could do it. So, AK Girly says we are not made to be friends or even get along with everyone that we work with. That's absolutely true. But when you have a choice of whether or not to do that or not, you can definitely decide to not mess up your peace of mind or your sanity. And I also think that it's one thing to dislike somebody because of their personality or because of the way they move, but it's another reason, it's another thing when you feel like there are people who are doing things behind your back to ensure your downfall. I think that's when it gets to a whole nother place. And if you have employees who are like that, then I absolutely agree. Get the heck on. Like, it's not cool. So we'll just see how things play out. You know, I want to say thank you guys for sticking with me through this review. This show is not an easy one to review because everybody is passionate on both sides. I do want to say, listen, if you like one person over the other, I'm cool with it. Definitely put your comments in the chat. We welcome it all here. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you think is, whatever feedback you have, I welcome that too. I don't take it personally. Okay. I just feel like there are certain things that I feel like I've been seeing over the past couple of years, and it frustrates me to a certain degree. And I've vent my frustrations through, and then I've vented with you guys. And the reason I do so is because I feel like, I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like I talk to y'all people. I talk to y'all the most, okay? I talk to y'all more than I talk to anybody else in my life outside of my fiance, okay? I talk to y'all the most. So, you know, y'all get all of me. And so I appreciate that y'all, you know, allow me to come into your space and have this discussion. And you guys feel like you can open up yourselves to say how you feel back without fear of consequences, because, you know, I welcome it all. With that being said, guys, I will see you at 3 p.m. We are going to go live with All About the Tea, as we typically do on Mondays. Make sure you guys are over there as well at 3 p.m. Because we're going to be chatting with Monique Kelly, Amir Yes, and possibly John Yates, as well as my boo thing, Miss Monica from All About the Tea. So make sure you guys are subscribed there as well. Thank you for the super chat, Victoria. I appreciate you. All right, guys. With that being said, y'all know what's up. As soon as we get some more news, I'll holla back at y'all, and I will see you guys in the next video.